back from the future. So, are you thinking, big enough or far enough into the future? Next slide. So we saw this before as like the impulse is to sometimes think in the medium term. It's like what I want to be this year, or where or 6 months from now, or how do I solve my immediate problems. But it's sometimes really helpful to, on the one hand, first push yourself into a farther future or a more ideal future, and say, this is really, really where I want to go. And then take a real long look back from the future and say, okay, as we've been stressing up to now, what's the extreme short term? What can be done next week? But we're going to do that. First part of that, we're going to sort of say, we're going to push you a little bit to think in the future, farther in the future, or think bigger, or think in a more ideal way. Next slide. It's sort of about how far you can take it, and also a bit stepping out of your comfort zone, and think about long-term growth and or what we call the dream business or the perfect business. So we'll talk a little bit about stepping out of your comfort zone. Next slide. We're going to do what we call stretching exercises. Stretch your vision in different directions. And then in stretching, you find out, of course, what changes are you comfortable with. You find out where you're maybe a little bit stiff, or where you've been a little bit limited. What changes make you uncomfortable. Not that you have to be uncomfortable, but it's interesting to find those out in case you really there's a payoff just beyond that comfort zone. Next slide. So remember, we have this kind of pivot concept. Pivot comes from basketball. It's the idea that you can keep one foot on the ground in terms of your business, and keep the majority of your business model, but change one thing or a couple of things of your business model, and you're already started in a different direction. So keep one foot around and go in a different direction is a great way to really pivot for long-term growth. Next slide. Now, it does mean that you may get out of your comfort zone. So you may be comfortable staying where you are, or just do that. We don't want you to be completely discomforted, but where can we stretch? And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, is where can we stretch? Where do you want to stretch? Next slide. And we're going to do a stretching exercise. You can pick which one you want to do. One would be to say, I want a bigger company. I want growth. In fact, I want growth more than I can quite imagine. I want to go 2x or 10x growth. I want real growth. Let me stretch in terms of imagining what would a much bigger company be. The other possibility, not everybody wants to grow. Some people want to sort of refine their company, or refine their what they do. And it's kind of the perfect company. It's the one that runs with least effort or least risk, or is the most profitable, at a particular volume. So that's in the stretching exercise, we're going to say, pick one. It doesn't have to be, it could be a little bit in between, but those are the two sides of the spectrum. It's like 10x bigger. I just really, really want to bring in more volume, bring in more revenue, or it's the perfect company that really runs smoothly with no risk, with no, worry on my part. I can go on a skiing holiday if I want to. So that's kind of the next slide. So we want you to do a little individual work here for 5 minutes. Pick which one you're going to do. Is it the perfect business, dream business, or the 10x growth? And really kind of jot down a few sentences, or think about it. What would that be like? Again, farther than when we were beginning the session, we said, where do you want to go? This is really trying to push this. Where do you really want to go? Or let's push yourself farther in the direction you want to go, and imagine that, and see what you get. Next slide. I think that, so we're going to do the individual work. Sorry, let's stop there. Go back to that other slide, right? And we're going to take 5 minutes to do that work. Jot down your perfect future or your 10x future and describe that.